Hello, Jeremy Lewicki here, and I am the founder of LATT SEO. We focus on working with e-commerce brands to help them generate more exposure through Google organic search and SEO. And what I'm doing in this video here is going through and doing an audit for Death Wish Coffee to look at their site a little bit and see if there are any ways that their site can be improved, especially from a technical or SEO perspective, to help them generate more sales through organic search. And first thing I want to do is look at this tool here called Ahrefs. And this tool here has so many different data points, but the two big ones to look at would be referring domains, and these are initial looking here. The first one is referring domains, and a referring domain is a unique instance of a different website on the internet linking to this site here, and you can see 3,400 or so. Now, the other data point to look at would be DR, or domain rating, and this is on a 0 to 100 scale, and essentially lets us know how strong or how authoritative a site is, and gives us an idea as to whether or not this site could or should compete for different keywords or phrases based on the search results. So that being said, the other thing I want to look at quickly here would be this chart down here with the blue and orange line. And the blue line, let me zoom this in a little bit for you. The blue line is referring domains, and the orange line is organic traffic. Now, generally, what should happen if things are set up and optimized correctly and you're targeting the correct keywords and these links are high quality, relevant, and the good kind of links you want to have for your site, when you get more links to your site, your traffic should trend up. Now, for some reason, it looks like they have gained in the past couple of years here, let's see, about 2,200 to 3,400. So they've gained about 2,200 new links and traffic has stagnated. So something's going on there. Not sure exactly what without looking at this in much more detail, but I wanted to just do a quick look at some of the keyword data and then look at a little bit of competitive data as well. So first thing to look at from that perspective would be keyword data. Now, this chart here shows all keywords their site ranks for in Google. You can see 33,222 different keywords. Now, this list in and of itself can be helpful, but what I want to do is look and see if there are any opportunities we can target from a quicker perspective. And to do that, I want to filter out some of these results here, these page results, and also some of the blog content. So if we do a filter to not contain pages or blogs, you can apply this filter, show results, and this gets down now to 9,572, much more manageable. Now, the other thing to look at here would be, and to help determine, and this is something we would go through as we start working with a brand, is to figure out a little bit more about their goals. Do they want to focus on Nespresso pods? Is this even a target that makes sense? It looks like there is massive search volume potential here, 141,000 searches per month. They're at position 84, so that would take quite a bit of work due to the competitiveness of this. But if we do a filter now to instead look at just keywords that are in position 2 through 20, and the reason for that is to figure out any keywords that we already rank kind of well for, and we being this site, not associated with them, and figure out if there are ways that these different pages or products or collections can be improved relatively quickly. And one of the opportunities here as we scroll through this would be looking at something like ground coffee as a potential here, 12,000 searches per month, and they're at number 12. Another one would be dark roast coffee, 3,500 searches per month, and they're at 14. So if we look at the search results for this, couple interesting data points here. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm doing going through here, the search results here shows all the ranking sites in Google organic search, and at least the top 10, and then it gets down to show where this site is as well. First thing I'm seeing here, if we look at the DR column, DR again is 0 to 100 and lets us know the strength or authoritativeness of a domain. So we have Volcanica, I believe Volcanica Coffee, DR 50, Cambria Roasters DR 7, that's very interesting. Stone Street Coffee 42, Coffee Bros 48, Copper Moon Coffee 33, Door County Coffee 43, 41, 60. So we have then Starbucks at 88 on page 2, and then Death Wish at 72, and Pete's at 73. So this is very interesting search results here. All of the strongest sites from a DR perspective are on page 2. There's not one site over DR 60 on page 1. Very interesting there. So the other thing to look at then and I was digging into this data a little bit more, would be looking at domains or links to this individual page. And you can see here, Volcanica Coffee has 5, Cambrio has 9, Stone Street has 2, and this shows that this Death Wish coffee page here has 0, but that's not true. So I'm not sure why this data is skewed here. They actually have about 118 or 120, something like that. So they do have way more links than are shown within this display here. But next thing to look at then would be looking at their page itself to see, is there anything else going on here? And then we'll dig into some of the more specific content on this page as well. So first thing is, I see Dark Roast Coffee is at a large H1, which is nice to see. And the one other opportunity that we have seen before with clients is the Volcanica Coffee. Their title is Dark Roast Coffee. For Death Wish, their title is Fiercely Strong Coffee, and then Dark Roast Coffee. Sometimes we've seen just switching the order of the title can impact rankings. So potentially shifting the easiest and fastest test would be to just switch the order of this. It wouldn't change any optimization in terms of keywords that are in the title, but it would just change the order. So move Dark Roast Coffee to the left. That would be a very quick and easy test. And then you could check the results over the course of a week or two after things are indexed and see how that impacts rankings. But that would be the first and easiest and fastest fix to test. Next thing then would be looking at so we looked at this page here. Now I want to do a search within, or an audit within Surfer here. So again, if you're unfamiliar, haven't seen my videos before, what Surfer is a tool where we can put in a keyword and then we put in the URL of the site that we want to rank. And what this does is looks at the top ranking sites for this key phrase, Dark Roast Coffee, and compares what this page has in terms of content, keywords, H1s, page speed, a number of different elements that can impact search engine optimization results, and go through and look and see what we need to do from that perspective to get into the expected range for these different elements. So first one, if we look at content density or keyword density, this recommends the plural here, Dark Roast Coffees, having a multiple, and it recommends 4 to 15 times, and this site has it 0 times. So that in and of itself is probably not a major optimization change for them. And then we have some of these here, again, as always, don't make sense, but some of them would potentially make sense for them to add in. So I usually take this initial information with a grain of salt. It's very helpful at times if, for example, if they had Dark Roast Coffee on their page 0 times and they wanted to rank for it, that would be a glaring issue and something to clean up immediately. Content length, it looks like Death Wish Coffee has way more content than everybody else. Part of that, though, is if you look at the content here, so this is the description, and then they have these few drop downs here for flavor profile, attributes, and details. A very minor amount of content within those sections here, but if we scroll down to the user-generated content, this has 4,373 reviews. So this is where the majority of that content is pulled in, and this could actually skew the content density and keywords and things like that due to user-generated content. So that is something to potentially think about as well. We've seen that in cases where too much user-generated content can dilute the optimization on your site and can cause issues with optimization. And again, it depends on how it's structured and set up. But the couple other elements here that stand out would be adding additional keywords in the body. So Volcanica Coffee has almost 1 exact keyword per 100 words of content on their site, or on this page, I mean, and Death Wish has 0.21. So they have more than 4 times the keyword density for the key phrase Dark Roast Coffee. So something to think about and potentially test there as well. And then one other issue here would be, for some reason, Death Wish Coffee has 2 H1s on that page. So what that means is the term, and I can't find the second one. It must be somewhere in the review content. So this Dark Roast Coffee is an H1. And if we do a search for Dark Roast Coffee, it shows up here and in the breadcrumb section, here in the H1, and then the third one, I'm not seeing it. So it might be in a review somewhere, or it is in this section here, but the content does not display for me, and that's the other one that's listed as an H1. So that is potentially causing issues as well. And then here's the other H1. So you have all these other sites have 1 H1, and Death Wish has it listed twice. So again, a likely very easy test to make to switch that out and see how that impacts rankings without doing anything major, without having to build new links, just a quick optimization update on the page itself. And then the other thing I see here is load time. So time to first byte and load time are user experience or page speed metrics. And if we look here, it looks like they're slightly outside the expected range of the other competitive sites. So nothing major here, but it's always recommended to improve page speed if you can, because that can greatly impact conversion and user experience, of course. Now, one more thing I want to do, I have not shown these on my videos yet, but I want to go through and look at what's called a content gap analysis. And for this, essentially what we do is we put in different competitors. Let me zoom this in. So we put in different competitors here. So in this case, Driftaway Coffee, Parachute Coffee, and Biohazard Coffee. And then we put in the site for the site that we're working to target, Deathwish Coffee in this case. And what we do is we click Show Keywords. And what this does is shows all keywords and phrases that either Driftaway, Parachute, or Biohazard rank in the top 10 for in Google that Deathwish does not rank in the top 100. So it gives us an idea as to huge potential keywords we can focus on, and we can filter this too. So this list here has 2,612 different keywords, and the majority of these probably don't make sense to focus on. But having content like "Can dogs have coffee" is something that people who drink coffee and have a dog are interested in, and this can help build the relevancy and the topical authority of your site by having additional content related to coffee on your site. Now, one other thing to do then would be to filter this to include dark roast. So if we include dark roast filter or searches, we can see 9 keywords that Deathwish Coffee doesn't rank for. They have dark roast coffee, so it would likely make sense to have additional content about dark roast coffee. And you can see here the list of difference between light roast and dark roast, light roast versus dark roast, acidity, is it more acidic? And some of these could be targeted on the same page. And the other thing here is the search volume for these is not massive, but if we look here, Driftaway is ranking on page 1 for every single one of these searches. Now, interestingly enough, then let's look at Driftaway really quickly here to see if this is something that may be impacting their rankings and their traffic. So if you recall, let's look at Deathwish first again, just to reiterate. So over the past 2 years, Deathwish organic traffic here looks like about 72,000 in June of 22 to 76,000 June of 24. So basically no change there. If we look at Driftaway and we look at June of 22, they were about 21,600 to about 43,000 currently. So they've doubled traffic in the past 2 years, and their content strategy could be playing a part of that. I haven't dug into this in more detail, but that is something that is very likely helping them because they're getting traffic for all of these other searches here and ranking for. Let's just do a quick search here for just Driftaway compared to Deathwish. So Driftaway ranks for 1,800 keywords that Deathwish doesn't rank for. And again, that includes all these different topics. And you can see here, a number of these topics are questions people have. Does coffee have calories? Can dogs have coffee? Things like that. So big opportunity from a content perspective to potentially get more additional traffic and to likely generate more sales, because people who are looking for these types of, or have these types of questions, are also probably purchasers or consumers of the product as well. And that's basically it. Just wanted to share the findings here for Deathwish Coffee, and hopefully this video was valuable and this audit was valuable, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.